better believe it. A night beyond compare. Old Father Thames has never seen the like. J-Mac will host the quiz. Frenchie and Baldwin will play in it.
Europe. Welcome to the Fulham Focus podcast. That's me, J-Mac, trying my best Tom Baker Little Britain impression for this Europa League quiz this evening, this afternoon, this morning, whenever you're listening. And that music was the unmistakable sound of our very own punk band Emergency Bitter. You can find more from them on Facebook if you so desire. But back to Europe. It's a smashing place, and we almost came close to being a sub-Mark II champion of it not too long ago. Just as Arsenal proved a few weeks ago, it is not as easy as it looks, and it certainly is not a Mickey Mouse trophy. As the Europa Champions League and Nations League have now ended, let's have some fun, reminding ourselves how great our club was for getting to the final of this competition. The fun I'll be having is with Guinness-glugging French croissant Matt Peclair and a sausage baguette-loving Welsh cake Matthew Rhys Baldwin. This is all on the other side of this. 64 points are up for grabs, you legends listening, wherever you are, and 42 points are available to my co-hosts. Let's go.
Fulham.
All right, lads, so here we are. It is time for the Europa League quiz. This is a big occasion for a big time in our history. And we will start with the first round, which is Guess the Figure. All right, and it is 1 point for the nearest, but if you get the exact number, I will give you an extra point as a bonus, okay? So, right, I will go to both of you, and I will start with you, Mr. Baclair. Hello, mate. Right, question 1. How many goals did we score in total from the first leg of the qualifiers all the way to and including the final? How many goals did we score in total from the first leg of the qualifiers all the way to and including the final?
Let's go with 28.
You're going with 28. And Mr. Reese, hello, how are you? And what do you think it is?
Hang on, I'm doing the maths in my head, and I've just got out the group stage. 17.
If you don't want to say hello back, that's fine.
I would. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm
No point.
Hello there. Hello there. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to do the maths in my head, and I've got as far as the group stage, and now okay. So I've got some. Oh, now I've lost my train of thought. Thank you for introducing me.
Just give a fucking answer.
25.
25. You're going for 25. All right. I can safely say that the answer is 31. So Matt Baclair has the point for the first question there. The ice hath been broken. All right. Question 2. Eric Nevland was sent off in Rome, having just come on as a substitute at half-time. How many minutes was he on the pitch for? And I'll go to you first, Mr. Reese.
2.
I was saying 2 minutes. And
it was
for you,
incredibly
Mr. Baclair?
quick.
Was it?
Was it?
I don't remember it being quick. I'm going to say 20.
All right, you're going to say 20. Well, Mr. Reese was right. It was 4 minutes.
Was
4 minutes. It was indeed. He was only on for 4 minutes. All right, question 3. How many penalties did Fulham score en route to the final? And I'll go to you first, Mr. Baclair.
Right, I can think of Roma, and I can think of Juventus, and I can't think of anything else. I'm going to go 2.
Going to go with 2. Very good. And for you, Mr. Reese?
I'm going to say 3 because I remember Basel, and I think we had one against Basel away. But I think the one Roma. I think we missed the one against Roma. I think Murphy.
You're talking nonsense. There was there. You're right though. That was against Basel, the one he put over the bar. You're right.
Because Hangland scored against Roma. So I'm going to go 3.
You're going to go with 3. Well, I can safely say that is absolutely the correct answer. So you've just got double points there, mate. Well done indeed. That is double
points.
You got another point for getting exactly the right figure there.
He did explain the rule.
I did explain it, and I just made it up. And Danny might bite my head off for that, but I think it makes it more fun. So I can safely say it was 3. Murphy in the first game versus Vetra away. Kamara versus Roma away. He gave us the lead but we lost 2-1. And like you all said, Gira versus Juventus to level the tie. Murphy also missed a penalty against Sofia at home, hitting it high, wide, and not at all handsome.
That was it. It was Roma that missed a penalty, not us.
No, what are you on about?
Roma missed the penalty because that was the Stephen Kelly. Oh, yeah. The Stephen Kelly Greater Hangland red card. That was a penalty, and they missed it.
Yeah, of course they did. You're right. I told you I wouldn't remember much about this.
Well,
yeah, so many memories flooding back. I remember Ranieri was managing that time for Roma.
You're right, he was.
Oh, so much flooding back.
It's a time machine of a quiz, isn't it? Right, question 4. Following Diego Forlan's first goal in the final, how many minutes did it take Fulham to equalise through Simon Davis? And I will go to you first, Mr. Rees.
They were both in the first half. That's what I remember. I'm going to say 17.
17 minutes. All right. 17 minutes for you. And for you, Mr. McClare?
I'll say 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, you go for 10 minutes. Reese goes for 17 minutes. It was 5 minutes. So you get a point there, Mr. McClare. Very good. It was quick indeed. All right. Question 5. How many teams kept a clean sheet against us? I'll go to you first, Mr. McClare.
I can't remember any of the qualifiers. I don't think it was many. Who was that team? They beat us 1-0, but we ended up qualifying. Was it Vetra? I can't remember. We beat.
I'll tell you in a minute.
Yeah. I don't think there were many. After that, I'm going to go 1.
Going for 1. Interesting. And for you, Mr. Rees?
I'm going to go 2. I remember we lost that 1-0 away at Perm, but it wasn't a semi-final, a 0-0 draw. So I'm going to go 2.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
The answer is 2, and you get an extra point for getting bang on the money there, Mr. Rees. And that is because, exactly like you said, it was Abka Perm, 1-0 to them, the qualifier of the second leg, and it was 0-0 against Hamburg in the semi-final. So completely correct there. Well done, Mr. Rees. So that is the end of that round, and the scores are 5-2 to the Rees, purely because of my little dodgy extra point bonus thing there, but I think it's fun. I don't know how you feel, Claire, but I think it's fun. Round 2. Loving it. True or false? This is round 2. True or false? All right, here we go. And you are all... That's a great sound. I love that sound. So this is now a question each for this one, for the true or false round. All right. Question 1, and I'll go to you first, Mr. Rees. Despite missing every match after the qualifiers through injury, only Bobby Zamora and Zoltan Gira scored more goals in the Europa League than Andy Johnson that season. Is that true or is that false?
So you're basically saying Andy Johnson was our third highest goal scorer. I'm going to say true.
The answer is completely and utterly true. AJ and Dempsey are joint third with 3 goals each. Very good. That's a point for Mr. Rees. And for you, Mr.
Do I not get a bonus point for a big bang on?
Wind your leg in.
Correct.
Good grief.
On. Goodness me. Not made of money. Question 2. This was Roy Hodgson's first European final as a manager. Is that true or false, Mr. Baclair?
I have no idea. He might have been there with Inter Milan. I'm going to say that it was his first.
Oh, it was false. He was also a runner-up in the old UEFA Cup with Inter Milan, so you should have said true.
Brilliant.
Damn it. Doesn't matter. There's so much to play for. Question 3. Overall, Fulham scored more goals in the first half of matches. Is that true or false, Mr. Rees? That overall, Fulham scored more goals in the first half of matches.
I'm going to say false.
It was indeed false. They had 14 first half goals and 17 second half goals. Very good. Question 4, Mr. Baclair, this is for you. True or false? Despite scoring 6 goals, the furthest distance Sultan Gira scored from was 13 yards, a yard behind the penalty spot. Is that true or is that false?
I can't remember any long-range goals. Let's. All right, true.
It is absolutely indeed true. Basel away being the furthest out in yards. So that is a point for Mr. Beclair. All right, question 5. This is to you, Mr. Rees. Nobody played in all 19 games.
The one wrench in that is Pascal Zubabula, our backup keeper. I'm just trying to think. Would he have played second leg against Perm or something? No, I'm going to say false, because I think Schwartz was in goal for every game. So I'm going to say false.
All right. It is true, unfortunately. And the note here is, I can't reveal any other info because of future rounds upcoming. So you'll see. But it is true.
I don't like that. I don't like the fact that's been hidden.
You'll just have to believe me. Okay, to question 6. This is for you, Mr. Beclair. Sol Ki-Hyun, Dixon Atuhu and Damien Duff all scored 1 goal each in this tournament. Is that true or false?
Okay, so I remember Atuhu scoring away at Juventus. I don't think he scored another one. Did Sol score in one of the qualifiers maybe? I don't remember. Yeah, I think he did. Duff scored against Wolfsburg. I don't think he scored another one. I mean, yeah. So, what was the question? They only scored one. I think they each only scored 1 goal. True.
Okay, true. The answer is false, I am afraid. Dixon Atuhu scored twice. First against Vetra at the Cottage, and then a priceless, very fluky, deflected away goal in Turin against Juve.
I remember that Atuhu goal. It was very. There's a bit of a story to this. Can I tell the story?
No.
Do we have the time?
Please, no. Let's sing Kumbaya. Come on, tell me.
Right, so one of the FK Vetra players basically sliced a clearance and it went out for a corner, and then we scored direct from that corner. And you could just see the little guy's face after Atuhu scored. He was heartbroken over it. And we all laughed at him. Well, the people around me were all laughing at him for committing the error. But then when you saw his face afterwards, you just felt sorry for the poor lad. Just a little fun story there. Sorry, carry on.
Don't cut that bit out.
Oh, boo! Yeah, it was a fun story. It was a fun story.
I enjoyed it. I actually really enjoyed that. All right, round 3. Okay, this is the big one. This is general knowledge. This is the general knowledge round. Okay, so you all get a question each for this one, but I would like to just give you a quick summary. Beclair is on 3 points, and Mr. Rees is on 7 points. So all to play for still, guys. All right, so question 1 of round 3, general knowledge. And I'll go to you first, Mr. Rees, with this. FK Vetra were our first opposition during this cup run. What was the aggregate score over the 2 legs?
6-0, 3-0, 3-0.
That is absolutely 100% on the money. It was 6-0 with 3-0 in both legs. Very good, sir. Question 2. Who scored the first goal in that match against Vetra?
Danny Murphy.
It is Bobby Zamora, I'm afraid. Unlucky, mate. Unlucky. All right, question 3. Who got the assist for Fulham's first goal in the Juventus comeback, scored by Bobby Zamora? And I'll go to you first, Mr. Rees.
Oh, it was a through ball over the top. You back Cannavaro off. I'm going to say Simon Davis.
Calling Simon Davis. Simon Davis is not here. It was... Let me just get my notes. It was Paul Konchesky's cross that was the assist for Bobby Zamora's goal in that game, I am afraid, sir. Unlucky.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
so,
no big deal.
No big deal. No big deal. Question 4. This is to you, Mr. Beclair. 2 of the following 3 players only made 1 appearance in Europe that season. The third one played twice. Who is it? David Stockdale, David Elm, or Eddie Johnson? And I'll happily repeat that again if you want me to.
Please.
Sure. 2 of the following 3 players only made 1 appearance in Europe that season. The third one played twice. Who is it? So who's the third player that played twice? Is it David Stockdale, David Elm, or Eddie Johnson?
I'm going to say David Elm.
It was absolutely David Elm with 2 sub-appearances. David Stockdale had 1 start and Eddie Johnson had 1 sub-appearance. Very good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Question 5. Back to you, Mr. Welsh. Mr. Rees, who came on and off for Fulham's first substitution in the final? So who came on and off for Fulham's first substitution in the final? And you have to get both to get the point here.
It was Bobby Zamora off.
Very good.
And I'm thinking, it was either Dempsey or Neverland. It was one of them. I'm not giving my answer yet. It was Dempsey or Neverland. Just thinking, in that situation, I would have brought on Clint Dempsey.
Absolutely stunning work. Yeah, it was Clint Dempsey on for Bobby Zamora. Very, very good. Okay, next question is for you, Mr. Beclair. Diamansi Kamara left mid-campaign to join which team on loan?
Benfica? Don't know.
Don't know. It was Celtic.
I didn't even know he left.
Or did I?
He left on loan, apparently. I don't make the rules. All right.
Okay,
there you go.
news to me. Okay.
Yeah. Carry on. Question 7 to Mr. Rees. When we lost 2-1 to Roma in Rome, 2 future Fulham players were on the score sheet for the Italians. They were Gianana Risa and Stefano Okaka. But which one scored the winner?
Oh, bloody hell. I'm going to say Stefano Okaka scored the winner.
He absolutely did. He scored the winner in the 76th minute, and Risa scored in the 69th minute via a deflection off his brother. For a little bit of extra trivia for you there. Very good, mate. Very good. You're 3 points so far in this. And right, we're going back to you, Mr. McClure, with question 8. Whose ground hosted the first leg of our tie against Juventus?
Torino.
It was absolutely Torino. Juventus were ground sharing at the time whilst they were building their new stadium. Question 9 to you, Mr. Rees. We took a semi-reserve side out to CSKA Sofia for our first group stage game. Only 3 players in the team that day started in the final. Name one of them.
So they started against Sofia and then started in the final.
Mm-hmm. Only 3 players.
That's a good one. I'm going to say Dixon Atuhu.
Dixon Atuhu. Unfortunately, Dixon Atuhu is not there, but you could have had either Chris Baird, Simon Davis, or Zoltan Gira. All right. Next question for Mr. Beclair. Only 2 games weren't played on a Thursday. The final was one of them. Who was the other against?
Basel. Away. I think that was a Wednesday.
Quick as a flash. And
do you know how I remember that? I stayed over. I stayed over. We were having a mini break, and then ended up getting snowed in until Saturday morning. So I ended up missing the Manchester United home game, which we won 3-0 because I was stuck at bloody Basel Airport.
Oh my God!
British winter weather, wonderful. No, actually, not British winter weather.
Swiss winter weather.
Yeah, and British, but yeah, more Swiss. Nightmare.
That is excellent. Next question. By reaching a major European final for the first time in our history, Fulham joined an elite list of English clubs that have reached such a feat. How many English clubs have played in a European final? Mr. Rees, how many clubs?
I swear I saw this stat the other day.
You
when
did.
Spurs got
Twitter.
to the final. Oh,
what is it then?
I'm
said Satan.
Now I've got to go through all the last weeks on Twitter, and there's just so much nonsense on there. I'm going to say
a lot of it posted by you, mate. To be fair.
Oh yeah, more than likely. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing. I'm going to say 17. 17, 1-7.
That's absolutely outstanding. It was 17. Very, very
fuck
good
off. Did you get that
stuff.
right?
He absolutely did.
Man.
Can you believe that?
Oh.
All right, so next question. You ready?
Yes.
Yes. Where did Fulham finish in the league that season? What place?
9th.
The answer is 12th. I am sorry. It was 12th place that we finished in the league that season. Very good, guys. Very, very good. So, for the end of that round, 4 points for Mr. Rees and 3 points to Mr. Beauclair, which makes Beauclair has 6 in total and Rees has 11 points. 6-11. Not too distant at all. All right, so that is general knowledge out the way. We now move on to round 4. Focus Fortunes. Focus Fortunes. 5 guesses each. Right, here we go. So, here's the question. Name the 16 players who scored against us in Europe that season. And I will go to you first, Mr. Beauclair.
Risa.
That is absolutely right. Risa, Roma away. And to you, Mr. Rees.
Mladen Petric.
That is absolutely right. A point for you. Mladen Petric, Hamburg at home. Mr. Beauclair. Okaka. Roma away. Absolutely right. And for you, Mr. Rees.
David Trezeguet.
David Trezeguet. Exactly. Juve. Very good. And Mr. Beauclair.
Who else did we play? What's the guy's name from Shakhtar Donetsk? The Brazilian guy. Can't remember his name. Let's move on from that. Wolfsburg. There's some guy scored in the last minute who I can't remember. Then we played Juventus. Can't remember who scored the goals out there. God, I don't know.
Big head on the spike.
Oh, okay. Forlan. Yeah, I was just about to say Forlan.
Very good. That is a point, and he scored twice in the final. As you know, boo. Okay, good. And Mr. Rees.
I remember that Wolfsburg defender. It was Alexander Madlung.
Alexander Madlung for Wolfsburg at home. Absolutely right. Okay, and Mr. Rees.
That was Mr. Rees.
That was Mr.
I missed the... I know who you are, Mr. Beauclair. That is the question for you.
I think I am... I can't remember anybody else from Juventus. I don't know. I have to throw the towel in on this one, I think, unless we didn't score any own goals, did we? No, sorry, I'm out.
He is out. Right, okay. That is a missed point for you. And Mr. Rees, another guess.
Does that mean I get 2 guesses in a row?
Well, you could do. Are you out fully now, Mr. Beauclair? You just...
I think so. I can't remember anybody else.
Oh, God, this is very depressing. Okay, all right. 2 noughts. Oh, okay, fine.
I remember the French right back, Jonathan Zabina.
Mm-hmm. Zabina. Jonathan Zabina is absolutely on the list at Juve away. He scored Juve away. Excellent. And the last guess for you, Mr. Rees.
Basel striker, big number 9, Marco Strella.
Marco Strella, Basel away. Very good. So 5 out of 5 and 3 there for Mr. Beauclair. Excellent, excellent. And for all you listeners listening at home, you could have also had Jadson from Shakhtar. You could have had Nicola Legrotagli, who scored at Juve away. You could have had Luis Adriano from Shakhtar. You could have
Adriano, that's the one I was thinking of, the Brazilian guy.
Alexander Frey. You could have had Marco Andreoli, Michel Platini. You could have had Vitale Christian, or you could have had Martin Kushev. All right, so if you're listening at home, those are the ones you could have had. So they are all in there. Add them to your tally. All right, guys. So at the end of all of that, the score is 16 to Mr. Rees and 9 to Mr. Beauclair. Okay, round 5. Here we go. This is Guess the Minute, all right? The clue's in the title. Guess the minute that the following goals were scored, and the person wins the point. But we are entering in a stipulation here. You have a lifeline of a 2-minute window of either side of that minute. So, for instance, if an answer is the 30th minute, and one of you say either 32 minutes or 28 minutes, you will get a point because it is 2 minutes either side of that time. Does that make sense to you both?
It does.
Yeah.
All right. So you are able to use that lifeline, but you are only able to use it as you go. This means that you are unable to see what the questions are all at once. So it is do or die when you use it. Okay? Hope we're all clear on that. And for you lovely people at home. All right. Question 1. What was the minute of Simon Davies' goal in the final? And I'll go to you first, Mr. Buckler.
23.
23 is not the answer, I'm afraid. It is the 37th minute. All right, then. Okay. And the next one for you, Mr. Reese. Zoltan Gira's opener at home to Shakhtar. That is for you, Mr. Reese.
I'm going to say, I'm not using my lifeline. I'm going to say the 16th minute.
It was the 3rd minute, I am afraid. Never mind. All right.
Very quick.
Very quick. Next question. How many minutes did Jonathan Greening play in the final? And I'll go to you, Mr. Beclair.
I don't know. Did he even play?
Well,
come on. I have no idea. 16?
3 minutes again. It was not. He only came on in I believe it was the 117th minute, and the game finished on obviously 120th minute. All right, Mr. Reese. Clint Dempsey's chip versus Juventus. What minute was that?
Oh, the amount of times you've seen the clip of it, but you don't pay attention to the minute it was in. I'm going to say the 81st. No lifeline.
It was the 82nd minute. You should have used the lifeline. All right. Okay. Here we go. Next for you, Mr. Beclair. David Trezeguet in the Juventus comeback.
I'm going to say 4th minute, and I'll play a lifeline.
4th minute, and you're going to play a lifeline? That is absolutely spot on, because it was the 2nd minute. So fantastic. A point for you there, Mr. Boisclair. Very good. Very good indeed. All right, and finally to you, Mr. Reese. Zoltan Gira's winner against Hamburg. Guess the minute.
I'm going to play my lifeline, 78.
Oh, it was 76. You got a point as well. Very good. So 1-1 in that round. Very good. Nicely played and using them at the last minute, guys. All right, so that is 10 points in total to Mr. McClare, and that is 17 points to Mr. Reese. All things unmoved. Okay, here we go. Round 6. This is the head-to-head round. Okay, so which players come out on top when paired up from the most appearances in Europe that season? Okay, you'll have 3 each. So I'll say again, which players come out on top when paired up for the most appearances in Europe that season? All right. Okay, and I'll go to you first, Mr. Buclair. Chris Baird versus Paul Konchesky.
Paul Konchesky.
Unfortunately, it was Chris Baird. Chris Baird had 16 appearances, and Paul Konchesky had 10 appearances. Konchesky missed a couple through suspension after Roma red card.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And for you, Mr. Reese, Bobby Zamora versus Zoltan Gira. Who had more?
Ooh, I'm going to say Bobby Zamora.
It was Zoltan Gira, I am afraid. Zoltan Gira had 18 and Bobby Zamora had 17. Gira and Schwarzer made the most appearances, both starting 18 each, actually. So, I mean, there you go. All right. Next for you, Mr. McClare. Damien Duff versus Simon Davis.
Simon Davis.
It was Damien Duff with 14 appearances to Simon Davis's 11. All right. Okay. So, next one for you, Mr. Reese. Aaron Hughes versus Breda Hangeland.
Bloody hell. What game would they have been apart? Aaron Hughes.
Aaron Hughes is right. Aaron Hughes had 17 and Breda Hangeland had 16. Very good. That's the first point of this round. And question 5 to you, Mr. McClare, of this round. Danny Murphy versus Dixon Atuhu.
Dixon Atuhu.
That is absolutely right. Dixon Atuhu had 14 appearances and Danny Murphy had 13 appearances. Danny Murphy's suspension after Shakhtar, the red card, proved costly here. And for you, Mr. Reese, this is the final question. Here we go. Risa versus Stephen Kelly.
That is a good one. I'm going to say Stephen Kelly.
Well, I'm afraid you're wrong. Stephen Kelly had 10 appearances. Risa had 12. All right, so that is, again, another point for each of that round. You guys are unmoved. Also, now we have a bit of a Danny, did you know moment? So Danny would like to say, did you know that Bjorn Helge Riise made 12 appearances in that Europa run? That's more than Jonathan Greening, Eric Nevland, John Pansel, Stephen Kelly, and most notably Simon Davis. It's also only one behind Danny Murphy and Clint Dempsey. So there you have it. Bjorn Helge Riise contributed to 63% of the matches en route to Hamburg. Cheers, Danny. All right, guys, it's time for the final round, and the final round is the bonus round. Now, here's the doozy here, as Mr. Reese would like to say. In this bonus round, if you win, you'll get 10 points. All right? Now, I call this round Knock Till You Drop. You have to list. It's not that funny. You have to list.
You did that earlier, didn't you, Baldo?
Yeah, that was before we came on air.
Disgusting. All right, next. Right, here we go. Knock Till You Drop. List the 32 knockout phase teams until you drop. So it just goes back and forth, sudden death. And if you give me the incorrect answer, you lose. But there is 10 points to play for here. All right. And I will go to you first, Mr. Boisclair.
Juventus.
Juventus indeed. Mr. Reese.
Fulham.
Fulham on the list. Mr. Boisclair.
Roma.
Roma's on the list. Mr. Reese.
Wolfsburg.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Boisclair.
Hamburg.
Hamburg is on the list. Mr. Reese.
Liverpool.
Liverpool is on the list. Mr. Boisclair.
Atletico Madrid.
Mr. Reese.
Ajax.
They played Juventus, didn't they?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
because they were one of the teams you were thinking, who are we going to get?
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Starting to slow down a little bit now, aren't we? I think we've done everything.
5 seconds left.
Oh shit! There was a Belgian team. Alsmar.
Alsmar.
Yeah,
Alsmar.
something like that.
I've never even heard the word Alsmar before.
Probably just made them up. That's why.
I mean, out of the German teams, you could have had Anderlecht, Club Brugge, or
those are Belgian teams, not German.
He just said about.
Definitely leave this in.
But he just said a Belgian team. He said Belgian.
You don't know, and you said German.
And you said German teams, Anderlecht.
Oh my god!
Hang on, can we just get the formalities out of the way? Can I just say my next answer would be Everton?
Leave it. I'm out. I've had an absolute shocker tonight. I'm out. I can't remember any fucking other team apart from Everton. And that's because Baldwin just said Everton. So fuck the lot of you.
I was going to say you should make it as a thing.
Lost.
All right.
Anderlecht.
I mean, Anderlecht's on the list. Mr. Reese, next.
Okay, who else do we have? The team they lost to, Sporting Lisbon.
Sporting Lisbon. Very good. And Mr. Boisclair.
Alsmar.
Hang on, do you mean AZ Alkmaar?
Yes!
Is that who you're thinking of? They're Dutch, aren't they? They're Dutch.
I don't know. Yes, probably. Are they not German?
No. Well, let's ask J-Mac. He's the geography expert.
Let me just get my map. Hold on 1 second. I'm rolling it out.
If you've got a globe, you know you do.
Okay. Look, it's not here. Whatever word you just pronounced, it's not here. It's not here. It's not on the list. He's out. You're done.
Yeah.
It's over. Very good. All right. And the winner of that round was Mr. Reese with an extra 10 points. So that is 28-10. Reese is the Europa League quiz champion. And what I'm going to do for you, because you hate him and because I know a person who knows a person who robs from someone who actually pays someone who's very rich, I will bring you Diego Forlan's head on a spike.
That's all I've ever wanted. That's all I've ever wanted.
That's fine. That's fine.
Sounds a bit weird, mate, to be honest.
What he did to us, it's the least he
It does sound a bit weird, actually. I'm just thinking about it. Where would you put it?
Don't ask him that!
So I put it outside the cottage gates just as a reminder to anyone who ever fucks with us again.
It's brutal.
Well,
I like
Mr. Reese, you were certainly a worthy winner there. And as for sudden death, guys,
Well done,
I mean,
mate.
you were already in the lead anyway, so that's absolutely fine. Guys, look, it's lovely to speak to you. I've got to say, this might be the last time we speak to each other for a little while on the pod, because
I think
upcoming
so.
We've got a quiz of the USA, and then we'll just have bits and bobs. I guess we'll have some transfer activity and stuff, and maybe some gossip, see where the Sessignons end up to, if Mitrovic actually leaves, who's coming in, etc., etc., etc. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much to my lovely, beautiful co-host here, and thank you all to listening and for playing along at home. If you've got a good score or if you've got full score, please message us and please tweet us and we'll bathe you in glory. As for the pod, please like us and subscribe to us, tell your friends about us. Thank you very much for bearing with us this season, as we always say, but this has been a very, very tough one, but it's nice to end it with such nice memories as the Europa League final and on a pod like this. All right, so thank you again to my co-host and thank you to all at home. Stay safe. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Fulham.